All right, so I just got done watching Inuyasha, season 1, episode 10. Phantom Showdown, Thunder Brothers versus Tetsuyagi. Tetsuyagi, friendly reminder to my audience here that Tetsuyagi is Inuyasha's sword. His nice, big Final Fantasy VII Cloud Sword that's tiny, except for when it needs to be big. He summons its power to defend human, or to defend specifically the Chosen One, Kagome. This episode picks up right where we left off. Actually, no, it doesn't. This episode picks up in a little fantasy that Manten, the toad of the Thunder Brothers, fantasizing of himself on a Pegasus, with surrounded by beautiful women with a nice big head of samurai-esque hair, and his hair falls out, and then the girls flee, and he falls out of the sky, and he realizes it was all a dream, and then he sort of comes back to reality, where Inuyasha is fighting against his superior brother Hiten. Um, so basically, this is a fight episode. It's to understand many shonen-esque series. I don't know if this Inuyasha necessarily falls under the shonen brackets. Is Inuyasha a shonen? I'm gonna look it up right now. But anyways, so these sort of tropes. Yeah, it's a shonen. Yeah, it is. So these I've lost it. Oh man, this is awkward. So yeah, this is the second part of the classic 2-part fight episode. You do all the build up explanation the first one, and then you do all the fighting in the next one. So this episode we get back to this thing where these type of shows love objects, love their symbols. But there's you see Shippo and Kagome kind of team up against the Toad guy. Not to much success, but he's also the only time where this Toad guy, Manten, is of any value, where he unleashes his thunder powers, is when he feels upset about his lack of hair. Shippo and Kagome over the last 2 episodes have gotten rid of all 3 of this guy's hairs, all 3 little hairs that this guy had left. And I like Shippo and Kagome's relationship. They seem like they get along well. They both seem to have a pretty go with the flow, but also they don't take shit from no one kind of attitude. I like that. I think that Shippo is an excellent added addition to the crew for the series going forward. I think helps balance Inuyasha's. Honestly, Inuyasha, the character, seems to be pretty one-dimensional so far, but that's obviously so we can have an arc of Inuyasha becoming, either more of a demon or more of a human, or slowly panning in each direction depending on the narrative arc that we're going through. But Shippo is just such a shape-shifting little minx, and I was thinking maybe he'll pull through this time, and I think he really did. He really did. But anyways, this episode sees Inuyasha slaying was it Hiten's brother, Manten, the Toad brother, from a long distance, just throwing the sword right through his chest and triggering a double rage. This episode's all about familial rage. This is actually a recurring theme throughout the show when you think about everything that's gone on so far. Is vengeance, family vengeance, comes as a vicious cycle. When you avenge one person's father, then this guy has to avenge his brother, and then this guy has to avenge his daughter, and then this guy's got to save the princess for that reason. It's an endless cycle. Why don't you guys got to keep the violence out of the family? Let's not do family motivated violence here. Clearly, it just results in more and more harm and conflict. And I realized, and there's a little flashback that the brothers have of Hiten, or of Manten, kind of like, he had a toad mother and a human father, and yeah, that's just like, there's a lot of this kind of interbreeding thing going on here, or maybe this is the opposite of interbreeding, animal on human, demon on human kind of thing. But I guess that's just this world. I think it's kind of weird. It's kind of off-putting, but it's whatever. So Inuyasha is fighting this guy. He discovers that his sheath is so strong that he can defend himself with the sheath, and ends up getting a nice blow. He slugs him, in Kagome's words. He slugs Hiten, knocks him down just by giving him a punch. And then the sheath eventually, as it's about to shatter, calls upon the sword. and the sword comes to him, and he lays the final blow, defeating the Thunder Brothers once and for all. That's pretty much this episode. It was kind of silly. It was fun watching them fight. I liked that I didn't have to pay too much attention to this episode, considering it was a fight episode. It was a fight episode. I mean, that's all it was. And this, so Shippo is here to stay, at least for the next little while. And, that just will keep these, monster battles going. Oh, another interesting thing is these two guys had crystal gems. These two guys had sacred pieces of the sacred gems. And now they got like 5 pieces or some shit like that, which is great. Because that's where, I don't know, yeah. It's kind of weird. He, takes his brother. Oh, okay, I forgot to mention this, too. But you know how I said in the last episode the toad guy had the fox father wrapped around his waist. I found it quite interesting that he gets his father back. I don't know. Shippo gets his father back, and apparently the spirit of his father is what kept Kagame and Shippo from burning to death. It's kind of briefly implied at the end here that they are gone and they return as spirits, and the Fly Guy misleads Inuyasha. Fly Guy is actually what you call an unreliable narrator of sorts, and kind of irritated for that reason. I'm eating miso soup. It's really good. So yeah, Shippo's here to stay. Yeah, I like him. He's a good character. This is an alright episode. Not the best, certainly not the worst. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Thanks for watching.